Hey out there, legal warriors. Did you know there are several advantages to hiring a criminal defense law firm with multiple attorneys over hiring a solo practitioner? It might surprise you what those advantages are. Some of the thinking of why it might be a disadvantage, in reality, it is an advantage. And I think you have to have taken the journey that I have to see that. So if you're interested in this area of the law, stay tuned. This is the video for you. My name is Attorney Lance Fryrear. I'm a defense attorney in Lynnwood, Washington. My law firm's been defending people charged with crimes all throughout Washington state for more than 20 years, and I'm putting out these videos to help educate the public. So if you find this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people get the help they need. Now I'm just going to jump right into it. Is there an advantage, and what are they, if you hire a criminal defense law firm with multiple attorneys over hiring that single solo practitioner? And what I've learned from my own journey, going from a solo practitioner all the way up to a law firm now that has multiple attorneys, including myself. When I'm filming this in 2024, we have 7 criminal defense attorneys on my firm. I've learned that there is an advantage, and I've learned that throughout my own journey. And let's just talk about what some of those advantages are, and then I'll sort of backtrack about how it is that views can change over time. So I think the big advantage of hiring a firm that has multiple attorneys is that if it's the right type of firm, the firm that is really trying to get results in a case, and the entire team works together as a team, not just one attorney, is you get multiple people with multiple different points of view looking at each individual problem. In fact, just this last week in my office, I can think of a handful of cases where there were 3 or 4 of us attorneys looking at the situation from different angles and debating, should this client speak to the police or should they not? What about this issue? What about that issue? What experience have you had, attorney C versus you, attorney A? And there's all these different experiences and cases and experiences with certain officers and prosecutors. There's a lot more knowledge that is brought to the table in shaking it all up and trying to decide what the best possible decision is for a certain situation. There's so much more knowledge available if we're all working together than when I was just working as a solo, where I was working on my own single experience. And while my experience would grow over time, when you have multiple attorneys, all of those experiences combine to help come up with a better decision and avoid mistakes and also achieve better outcomes. Another advantage is that multiple attorneys can rely on each other emotionally for support against the government. The government just doesn't have one attorney. The government has dozens of attorneys in many prosecutors' office, all working against the client. And so therefore, it's nice to have multiple attorneys all working for the client. The other thing that I notice an advantage of with a multiple attorney firm is that we can cover for each other when we need to, right? It's like if one person's going to be out, you don't have to send a stranger to that hearing, right? Someone who knows something about the case, and that is also very helpful. As a solo practitioner, the thought is that a solo practitioner has an advantage, is what the public might think, because they know everything about every case, right? And you get that unique, personal attention. And that makes sense that people think that. But in reality, if this solo attorney is successful, they're also wearing a lot of other hats that detracts from the ability of them to represent somebody in their case. A solo attorney, a private attorney, they are a business owner. They are running a business. They have to worry about other things than just doing the casework. That's why in my firm, I don't do a lot of the casework anymore because I'm running so many other things. I tell many clients, you don't want me doing the casework directly unless it's a certain type of case. There's a few things that I still really focus on because I have so many other things I need to do. Well, that also applied when I was a solo attorney, right? I was the bookkeeper. I was the accountant. I was the marketer. I was the legal secretary. I was the person that was drafting documents. I was the one paying the bills. I was the one trying to figure out strategy, how we're going to get clients, how we're going to get reviews, how we're going to respond to reviews, all these things. And the nice thing is, if you hire a law firm, unless you're dealing directly with the person who started the firm, there's no way any of those other associates, those other attorneys that are a part of the firm, have any of those duties. The advantage of a law firm that's set up correctly to help clients is that those other attorneys only focus on the case. They have no other stresses. They have 100% of their brain, their work brain at least, is focused on the case. And that leads to better results. It just does, right? There's just less distraction. There's more time in the day. They can more purely use their skills, their energies, their abilities to get results. Now, we don't know that when we started as a solo attorney, though. We don't know it's any different. We solo attorneys, of how I started, I don't know if it's a God complex, but let's just say it's something along as no one can do it as good as me, right? It has to be done this way. And we all think that because it's, whenever we do something, it's the only way we've ever done it, right? And what I've learned as I've brought on very skilled attorneys, and this is not just my firm, other firms as well. This is not an advertisement, but it's more like what I've learned. As you bring on more skilled attorneys, you realize that there's other ways to get results besides the way that, the owner or the founder did, right? And they can actually sometimes do it better than the original person even can. And what I've also realized recently is one of the biggest advantages of having multiple attorneys, it's almost like a sports team. Think about it like this. The coach decides what players play what position. And if one player isn't being successful, if that wide receiver isn't getting open, they can take that wide receiver out and put in a new wide receiver who might do better against that defensive back, or put in a different quarterback, or change who's calling the plays. And when you have multiple attorneys, and you can sort of make those game time decisions. Hey, this prosecutor relates better to this attorney, or this attorney is more expert in a technical issue. This attorney is more expert in a theft case, or has a relationship with certain types of people involved in the case. When there's more players to put in, then there's a better chance, if that's done intelligently, to get a successful result. If there's a single player, that single player may have a couple different tunes they can sing, but they're not going to be able to hit as many different notes as a whole orchestra of players, right? That trumpet can play different notes, but there's only one sound or so it can make. A whole orchestra can make an infinite number of sounds and have an infinite different effect on people's emotions, on what things turn out like, right? It's the same way with attorneys, right? The more attorneys you have available, if they're working as a team, then that's going to be an advantage. Caution, if you have a law firm and it seems like they don't work as a team, hey, there's going to be usually one person assigned who's responsible. But if it doesn't sound like there's a team approach, then everything I said sort of gets taken back. Is that, if it's just one person with no input from anyone else, it's pretty much like a solo at that point, except maybe they're not having to worry about the business types of decisions. So, it's been recently that I've really understood while it's different, and how I've understood it is I've stepped back from being involved personally, every personal possible decision. I'm involved in all the cases, but I'm not making all the decisions myself anymore. I understand that why it is that the team of attorneys that only focus on cases, why they can get such great results. Because I've never worked as a defense attorney for another firm, I never had that luxury, right, to know what that was like, to only worry about the cases and not worry about the rest of it. So those are some good reasons what the advantages are of hiring a criminal defense firm over a solo practitioner. There's advantages of a solo practitioner if the practitioner is small, right? But I think as they get better and get bigger, those advantages become disadvantages until they hire enough staff that they can get people that are just focused on cases and not the business as it evolves. Okay. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. If so, please like and please subscribe. More people get the help they need. More importantly, if you get a legal problem, a criminal matter in Washington State, feel free to give my office a call. If we get on board, we'll listen to what happened, we'll identify a way forward, and we will be there for you. Thank you.